exporting is vital for our business. It's what keeps us stable. You know, when we have pandemics or economic recessions, being diverse in your markets and your offerings really keeps the company stable. So exporting to us is very key, not only for stability, but also for growth. I mean, 95% of the world's population is outside of the United States. So that's 95% of your potential customers. So it's extremely important to look to exports, not only for stability, but also for growth of companies in North Carolina.
Mike, when you see successes like Super Abrasives, is this something that we want to see for other companies in our state?
Absolutely. And Jonathan hit on it exactly. This market diversification is what allows companies to grow. Even if times turn tough here or somewhere else in the world, you've always got market potential elsewhere. So yeah, absolutely. We want to see more companies exploring new markets.
Mike, how can the Economic Development Partnership help with that?
We actually can help in a lot of ways. So we have 5 international trade managers here in the state with industry specialty and industry knowledge that are very specialized. They can walk companies through everything from market entry strategies to taking them to trade shows. We have 8 overseas offices covering more than 50 countries where we can provide assistance with regulatory questions, with trade show assistance, with distributor searches, that sort of thing. So we also have grant programs that can assist companies if they to reimburse for travel expenses, for trade show expenses, and for things like website optimization and digital marketing.
John,
we can help them.
It sounds like you can. John, do we have a lot of companies that are interested in and able to be part of this export process?
We do. So here in the state of North Carolina, we have thousands of businesses that export. North Carolina's got a very active and engaged business community, and they understand the importance of exports, in particular, in what it means to a business's growth. So as Jonathan mentioned, it's the growth of the organization. From where I sit, many times that turns into new jobs, good paying jobs here in North Carolina. What we do know is jobs in export intensive industries do tend to pay more. And so we want to be as supportive of this as we possibly can. There's a lot that we can do for very large businesses here in the state, but I think our sweet spot really tends to be our support of small businesses who otherwise wouldn't have access to the type of resources that we provide. So we're really proud of the work that we're doing. And when I look at the total exporters here in North Carolina, what you'll find is over 90% of them are small to medium-sized enterprises. And so these are businesses with under 500 employees who are working hard to make sure that they can reach that international audience.
John, it feels like almost every interview we do, we end up asking this question, but I would assume last year with the pandemic that this probably disrupted a lot of the efforts that folks had as far as exporting.
It disrupted our efforts, but it also disrupted the efforts of North Carolina exporters. So to put things in perspective, in 2019, North Carolina hit an all-time high in terms of exports. And North Carolina exporters did over $34 billion worth of sales to countries all over the world. In 2020, we did see that turn around significantly. And so, as you mentioned earlier, we did just over $28 billion. So we did see a significant drop. The good news is that the initial numbers that we're seeing for this year show that we're turning things around. And so as of the end of April, we were actually 7% ahead of where we were the previous year. So dedication to exports is one of the things that gets us through economically stressful times like the ones that we're having.
Jonathan, I see you nodded your head over there. Is that something you as a company experienced?
Well, absolutely. During the pandemic, you know, exporting definitely kept us going when some of the local markets kind of dried out, like aerospace and others. But exporting this year has come back furiously. I mean, it really is, you know, fast and furious for us right now. I shared this with Mike and John earlier that in the first 4 months of 2021, we already surpassed all our exports to Mexico that we did in 2020. We're on pace to actually surpass all our historical exports in 2018, 2019, and 2020 combined this year if we continue at this rate. So exporting really is coming back. And, you know, you're hearing from John that it's up 7%. I can tell you in certain markets, you know, we're already beating last year's numbers, and we're looking to beat the previous 3 years. And so we are seeing this growth, they are seeing this growth, and we just want to help more companies get to this point and, export more. I mean, that's what we want to do. We want North Carolina exports all over the world, covering it globally.
Well, and Jonathan, as a business leader, we're talking with folks from the Economic Development Partnership. I'm correct, your company has worked with them, right?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that we did, and my cover really touched on it, was we actually, because we couldn't go out because of the pandemic, we absolutely did some new websites. We made one for Mexico and one for Canada. So our website went live in November, so I can tie website globalization to actual numbers and saying, hey, we went live with this website in November, and it took a month or two for companies to find us in Mexico. But after that, the first 4 months of this year, we've seen export growth like we've never seen in company history. So whether it's website globalization, whether it's STEP grant money for finding new distributors or new partners around the world, we have utilized EDPNC and their services, and they are top notch. I mean, for any small business, they really are just an extension of our company because they really understand the products that we make.
Okay, Mike, before listed all of the ways that you can help these companies out, we're going to have companies who are watching this and folks who are watching this that say, okay, but what do I need to do to actually take advantage of this? So what do they need to do?
Just ask. We're here. Send us an email or call us, and we're here to help. We walk through companies. We work with companies anywhere where they are in the process. If they're new exporters or if they just want to grow, we work with them. So just reach out to us and ask.
And John, I guess just finally, do we have the potential for a lot of growth in exporting in our state?
We do, and if I could, I'd even list that as a challenge to the state of North Carolina. Again, to put things in perspective, when I look at the North Carolina GDP overall, what I can tell you is that exports contribute to 6% of that total GDP. But for countries like Germany, it's almost 50%. Countries like South Korea, it's 44%. And even for the country, it's 11%. So I would love to see more North Carolina businesses engage with international selling, because this is what gets you through the hard times, and this is what helps you expand when times are going as well as we've seen in the last 12 months. We do have a lot of industries that have not been able to keep up with orders, a lot of those international orders, and so we want to see more activity, but dedication to this is really what helps.
Okay. John, Mike, and Jonathan, I would like to thank all of you so much for joining us today.